The airframe itself, the crew, they're all at risk. And, just calling somebody up to take them away, is not necessarily cool.
Yeah, it's one of those, like, they're definitely a force multiplier, like rotor wing on the battlefield. So committing towards a mission that you didn't really need it for, you're committing it. That's kind of what it is. You can't really take it back once you launch it. So you need to be sure that this is going. There's a lot of yield for this CASEVAC or medevac, and that it's not being that it couldn't have been used somewhere else for better yield.
Yeah. And just, on the tactical aspect of it as well, that's a giant target flying through the air. Everybody's going to take aim on it.
Yeah.
And if that gets wrecked, like, now your EVAC is out.
Yeah. Now you're kind of just, like, that's it. You've now turned what could have been a 30-minute problem to a day's problem, because aircraft recovery it takes a while. It's not just pluck and go thing. Not to mention you have a mass cal on your hands now. So
yeah,
with not really a solid plan out. So it's not good. There's always risk associated with launching aircraft into an objective. So it's not a benign thing of just have them come over and then take this dude off my hands. Like there's always risk associated. So understand there's always a give and take. Like good medicine doesn't necessarily mean good tactics, and vice versa.
Yep, absolutely. I guess who has ultimate control of that? Would that be, it's not the medic. I'm pretty confident of that. I'm guessing the ground force commander. I imagine the pilots themselves are assessing the risk.
Yeah, it'll depend based on the system, but generally the ground force commander will have authority to call that aircraft in. And there's also authority nested at the dust off to say, okay, yeah, we'll take this mission. Because ultimately they are also assuming the risk. So,
right. Cool. You had mentioned earlier, requesting gear. I guess what would be a standard loadout, like, for any mission you would have, what kind of gear other than like an aid bag?
So usually, aid bag plus, most aircraft are going to be outfitted with electronics, monitor, suction, vent. I fly with an ultrasound, video scope, drug pump, things of that nature. So there are already things built in to optimize the patient for transport. So I hear it sometimes in refresher where guys will kind of just rattle off, arbitrary things like he needs a monitor, he needs a vent, he needs a suction unit. I'm like, well, okay, cool. Like what? Okay, tell me what else he needs.
Right. So maybe would special equipment be something like hypertonic? Would that be a normal thing you would bring?
Yeah. Guys are always flying with hypertonic. So the 9-line special equipment is a good starting point, because to me, special equipment is something needed to access the patient. So that's going to be like the cut and lift kit. Maybe they need a Sketco. Maybe it's rough terrain. So we can't just land. We might have to hoist down and grab the guy. So special equipment, in my eyes, is some sort of equipment needed to access and assess the patient.